This is a TV5 News Special, Campaign 2016, the Michigan Presidential Primary.
It was actually amazing. I was impressed, and even Megyn Kelly said, boy, Donald Trump really did well tonight. Thank you, Megyn. Thank you.
A big night for Donald Trump and his quest for the Republican presidential nomination. But the big question is Bernie Sanders about to pull off an upset in Michigan? 4 states are up for grabs in primary voting tonight, and there's some controversy to go with it.
That's right. There was a problem with the voting in one mid-Michigan county where several precincts actually ran out of ballots. So here's what we've got tonight. Andrew Keller on the ballot shortage, Gino Vici on Democratic results, and Faith Gantner on Republican results.
Before we get to all that, let's look at the numbers coming into the Continuous News Center so far tonight.
That's right. Michigan is too close to call at this hour. Sanders is holding on to a 2-point lead over Hillary Clinton. Now on the Republican side, Trump was the clear winner. But there's a dogfight for second place between Ohio Governor John Kasich and Senator Ted Cruz.
On to Mississippi, where Clinton beat Sanders by a wide margin. On the Republican side, Trump is the projected winner with nearly 50% of the vote, followed by Cruz and Kasich. Now, we're keeping an eye on the race in Michigan, and we will let you know if anything changes.
Right now, we are going to Andrew Keller to learn more about the controversy over the ballot shortage. Andrew, what have you got for us?
Well, frustration over the Flint water crisis, candidate controversy, good weather, a perfect recipe for a big turnout today. Matter of fact, the Detroit Free Press is reporting that may be the largest the state has ever seen. But it's causing some problems at some precincts.
You would think that they would understand that the turnout is going to be a whole lot higher because of the frustration.
Dan Stopka is one of the dozens of local voters who waited for hours to cast their votes. We're learning about some major problems at some Genesee County precincts.
And they said at 8 o'clock to write our name and number on a piece of paper along with our candidate, and that would be considered a vote. I just don't buy that.
Stopka's voting spot is Eisenhower Elementary School. He says they ran out of Republican ballots. A similar situation unfolded here at Grace Emmanuel Baptist Church.
We had a little hiccup where the voting ballots ran out. I was here earlier, and so I went on and did some other business and came back to finish voting.
The Genesee County Clerk says it's up to city and township clerks to request the number of ballots they think they'll need. And clearly they didn't account for the number of voters who turned out today.
Probably about midday they started coming in that voters were not able to vote immediately. We had a call that said there was up to a 2-hour wait at one precinct.
He says he also received one report of someone being turned away because a precinct ran out of ballots.
We probably have to have a serious discussion after the election to make sure that we don't inconvenience voters in the future.
Stopka, who was still waiting when we left him after 8 tonight, hopes so.
And matter of fact, I seen one gentleman switch his vote from Republican to Democrat because he didn't want to wait.
And now John Gleason, the Genesee County Clerk, says expect a long night. Some of those extra ballots that had to go out, first they had to make copies. They came hot off the copier, and now those people that filled those extra ballots out, those ballots will have to be hand counted. We're also hearing of some similar situations across the state, particularly in southeastern Michigan. Live in Flint, Andrew Keller, WNEM-TV5.
All right, Drew, thank you. Well, it may not have all the drama of Super Tuesday or Super Saturday, but the Michigan primary is still the single biggest contest of the day.
Yeah, so what exactly is at stake tonight for Hillary Clinton and Bernie Sanders here in Michigan? Michigan has 130 Democratic delegates that will be awarded proportionally based on today's vote. A 15% minimum is needed for either candidate to receive any delegates, and they're distributed based on the overall vote after that.
Now, here with more about the Democratic vote is Gino Vici. He joins us live in Flint. Gino.
Hello, Colette, and hello, David. Yes, this race is so close, and judging by how active each campaign was here in Flint all the way up until the last minute, it's not hard to see why. You know, we made stops tonight at Bernie Sanders' campaign, which is right behind me, where last-minute calls were put out. It was a much younger voting crowd than usual, and that kind of lends itself to how many people came out. And Sanders has really resonated with those younger voters, with his view that public higher education should be free. And at Clinton's campaign, volunteers also made calls up to the last minute. Both of these campaign headquarters they're empty now, but earlier tonight, dozens of volunteers raced to the finish line, and more than 4 hours later, we still don't know who won Michigan's Democratic primary. We're live in Flint tonight. Gino Vici, WNEM-TV5.
Thank you, Gina, for that. On the Republican side, delegates are handed out in Michigan differently than the Democrats.
Unlike the Democrats, Republicans have a chance to take all 59 of Michigan's GOP delegates, but only if they meet a specific criteria. Now, to sweep all of the state's delegates, a Republican candidate must receive at least 50% of the primary vote. Now, if that doesn't happen, each candidate who receives more than 15% will be awarded delegates proportionally based on the overall vote.
And here with reaction about tonight's Republican vote, Faith Gantner at a Republican watch party in Bay City. Faith.
Donald Trump is the projected winner of the Michigan GOP primary right now. John Kasich and Ted Cruz are neck and neck for second place. We're here at a Republican watch party in Bay City at Old City Hall Restaurant. Now, I'm told here in Bay County there was a big turnout of Republican voters at this primary. In fact, so far, 55% of people who voted in Bay County voted on the Republican ballot. I spoke to the chairman of the Bay County Republican Party to get his thoughts on tonight's results.
When you see a guy like Trump win Michigan, his message is resonating. And there's a lot of things that Trump says that I don't agree with. But one thing is for sure, Michigan wants an insider. We've seen the exit polls. We see it. We see the results on the election here. Michigan wants something different. They want somebody that's going to work for them and not for Washington. And I think that's what everybody wants.
Now, Donald Trump also won in Mississippi tonight. The Republicans here tell me that whoever wins the GOP nomination is who they're going to support in the November election. Live in Bay City, Faith Gantner, WNEM-TV5.
Thank you, Faith. And in Genesee County, Republicans are watching results come in, and what they really like, reports of heavy turnout in Michigan and around the country.
It's exciting to have this much enthusiasm for a primary, and hopefully we can carry it on to November.
This watch party was at Blackstone's in downtown Flint. Now we're going to move on to other news, but we will come back to politics in just a few minutes with analysis of tonight's results.
Well, I'm going to make a projection tonight. This beautiful weather today probably helped with voter turnout as you take this live look over Saginaw and Flint tonight. Chief Meteorologist Brian Bachman is here now with more on this much appreciated warm-up. Brian.
That's right, David. You know, I'm inclined to agree with you, too. No excuse, at least not any weather-related ones, not to get out to the polls today. Absolutely fantastic weather. And once you headed out to the polls, you probably didn't want to go back to wherever it was you had to go back to if it involved going back inside. But anyway, we all know, of course, it was a gorgeous day out there today. We're seeing those nice conditions continue on this Tuesday evening in early March. I-69 looking to be nice and clear tonight. Traffic moving along at normal highway speeds. As for the Sky Tracker, we're also seeing a fair amount of clearing taking shape, though it looks like we're getting to that point in the night where we're starting to try to squeeze at least a little bit of moisture out. You can see a couple of sprinkles beginning to pop up closer to the I-94 corridor. Those going to pale in comparison to what's moving into parts of Illinois and Iowa tonight, as this next massive rain is set to roll into mid-Michigan, likely sometime a little bit closer to the morning commute tomorrow morning. As for tonight, temperatures fantastic even at this hour. 61 still in Saginaw, 62 in Flint. Caro, the warm spot at 63, and we've got 50s everywhere else. Enjoy it. Open up those windows. Best chances for rain tomorrow come in during the morning, tapering off by about lunchtime. Another round of 60s headed our way. We'll let you know what's ahead for the rest of the week in your full forecast.
Thank you, Brian. A school administrator is on paid leave and parents are upset.
Yeah, what's next for a superintendent who's fighting to keep her job? That's next.
And a quick reminder, if you have a tough question you'd like us to ask, call us at one of the numbers on your screen or send us an email.